And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Korean StarCraft League, week number 10. It is great to be back here for another week of some of that Korean StarCraft. Hope everyone has been enjoying themselves today, this lovely weekend, as we dive into our first series of the afternoon. Exclamation mark be in the chat, everyone, if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have a lot of amazing players here this week, a lot of heavy hitters. And we're also missing some Terrans. Once again, 2 weeks in a row, we're missing players like Beyond, we're missing players like Maru, like Cure as well. But we have plenty of others in their stead, because spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the Malaysian Protoss player representing Team Infected. It is Ranger. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent. We have someone from the chat. Oh, you'll have to see him. Is a Red Zerg player, I believe, from the land of Hong Kong. It is Beekay. I should probably ask him where he's from. But yes, exclamation mark be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. We were poised to cast Mondo versus Nightmare. Fun fact, that's a rematch. That's actually a round 1 match from last week. And as we were getting ready for Mondo versus Nightmare, literally every other caster joined us. So we're like, we'll step away. It's all good. We'll find another series. We want to spread out. We don't want to all cast the same series. So I believe Mondo versus Nightmare is being casted by Dave Testa over on his channel. He's got his own ZVP going on. We have ours, as of course the winner of this very series is going to be moving on to face Scarlet in the next round. Oh, so yeah, a pretty high profile player and a high profile match as well. And there's a lot of history between the would-be players in the next round, but of course before we get into that, we'll see how our players do here as well. Ranger has been on that grind set. Ranger has been streaming a lot, has been looking to break into 6K on the NA ladder. He's done it before, he can do it again. And it's really great to see, because initially, at the start of the year, Ranger was very, I don't know if disenfranchised is the right word, but he was very disillusioned, that's it. He was very disillusioned with StarCraft. He wasn't really too motivated to compete and motivated to improve or anything like that, but a couple of months ago that kind of changed. You know, that spark was reignited within him, that that flame of passion, if you will. And Ranger has been going hard at streaming and laddering and practicing and improving and going over replays and all this stuff. So it's really great to see him once again there, especially because Ranger has always been one of those players with a lot of potential. For those who don't know, Ranger even went to Korea. He was in Korea with Eric, with Scarlet, no regrets. Spent quite some time there. I think he went there twice, actually. I think he went to Korea twice. But yeah, that was when he improved a couple of years ago before COVID, and he was able to actually have a really deep run in our region in the ESL Oceania version of DreamHack. So yeah, it's great to see him here once again, and we'll see how that practice comes into form, because his opponent Beekay has stopped droning. We've droned up to 21 and we're making nothing but lings. We have a Baneling nest being thrown down behind this as well. Ranger has spotted the lings. He's preparing back at home. For the most part, has one shield battery on the way, but I don't believe that Ranger has recognized what exactly is going on. Now, what I will say is that thankfully we do have a Stalker as a part of the wall. We have that shield battery. We're soon about to have an overcharge as well, so it's going to take quite a lot to bust through this natural wall. And Beekay is completely all in. Oh boy, a couple of adepts are threatening to shade. Here we go. The Banelings have been spotted. They have been confirmed. Overcharge gets popped, and the power of a Stalker. Not a single Baneling makes it through. The shields are still fully topped up. And this is why Bane busting in ZVP can be a really difficult thing to do. Ranger loses nothing, and Beekay is droning. Oh boy, oh boy. Fun fact, I believe it takes 11. I think it's 11 Banelings to kill a Stalker, like this. But of course, Banelings, they do some splash damage, and far less can take this down. But regardless, Ranger, the wall is strong, it is powerful. We are getting into Glaive Adepts. We do have a 4-gate setup as well. Behind this, Ranger wants to make sure he doesn't get bamboozled, so he has a second shield battery, second pylon, a sentry as well for force fields. So Ranger's looking very powerful, very solid here on 2 bases. And Beekay is struggling to catch up. Again, Beekay never intended for the game to go on any longer. We have no third hatchery, we have no additional gases, no lair. The drone count is honestly looking really disheveled. It's not... Aye. So, yeah, solid reaction, solid defense from Ranger. Beekay has to do something to come back in this game. His options, of course, are to go for a follow-up all-in or to try to macro out of this, and he's looking to try and macro instead. It is the more difficult of the 2 options, but not impossible, not impossible. He just has to hope that Ranger gives him space, that Ranger gives him time, and that he's going to be able to use that time to get back into this and to, you know, somehow take an efficient trade. And this is going to be a part of it. Ranger did go for a Dark Shrine. We do have Spore set up. The Spore has to reposition, but this Roach Warren is going to go down. Oof. Roach Warren does fall. We do see not a surround because we have a Prism. The DTs are saved. The lair is still not done. We don't have mobile detection. Thankfully for BK, even though we got Glaives, Ranger didn't go... Sorry. I'm dying. Ranger didn't go for a Glaive Dead push. He didn't commit to it. So because of that, BK was given a little bit more time. But now I spoke too soon because we have a couple of Archons being morphed in. Adepts are on the way as well. And Ranger is looking to deal even more damage. The Lings, they go first round, but no, the Archons, they finish up in time. We have the micro as well. Ranger saves all of his units, and Ranger is going to be able to bust on through here. I mean, again, he's the best player in Malaysia for a reason. GG gets called, and Ranger takes game number 1. GG, well played. A good effort by BK to go for the Bane bust, but alas, it can be difficult to pull off here, especially when your Protoss opponent is playing very safe and very defensive overall. And there we go. There is our first game. Our players just getting ready for our second. Oh boy, as we continue in this series, and yeah, we get to catch up in the chat. What's happening? You're an animal. You're an animal. Oh, I'm being exposed. Aye. Calm down, calm down. But we are getting ready for that second game. Lobby has been posted, and I'm curious as to what the vetoes were as well. Oh. Okay. Bappy. It looks, no, never mind. It looks as if. This keeps happening. It looks as if game number 2 is going to be taking place on Altitude. On Altitude of all maps. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. Of course, the largest map in the map pool. I'm curious as to what the plan from BK is going to be this time. You know, the Bane Bus didn't quite work on Gressvan, and now we're taking one step further. We're going to Altitude, the largest map in the map pool. These rushes are going to be that much harder to pull off, but not impossible. You know, we have seen plenty of Link Queen Nidus all-ins, for example, or you can try and creep highway across the map as well off of 2 bases. You got some options. Or you can play standard. So I didn't tear out my pants. What are you talking about? Shaking my head. The pants were not torn up. The result of those pants were of natural causes. So we're getting into this. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Altitude, we have our Malaysian Protoss player, the best player in all of Malaysia, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series, representing Team Infected. It is Ranger. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Altitude, we have his opponent. We have the Red Zerg. Oh boy, looking to represent himself here in this series. Currently down, but not out. It is Beekay. Oh Boy, here we go. Altitude. It's big. It's large. It's massive. There's a lot that can be done, especially in a more macro-oriented game. So I wonder if our Zerg player is going to try and make use of that or has other things in store. We'll be keeping an eye on that drone count, a keener eye as well to see whether we do cut workers again or if we actually drone and get a third base. I'm ready. I am excited. Oh, vamos. For the time being, hatch gas pool opener here from Beekay. Nothing too fancy from our Zerg. Same can be said for Ranger. You know, we do see a probe scouts, but nothing too crazy. No probe out on the map for any kind of proxy. Even though this map is quite large and, you know, there are quite a number of proxy locations, it's going to be unnecessary here. Ranger, he doesn't have to resort to that sort of stuff. It's going for a gate expand into his cyber core. Macro. Macro. But yeah, I was kind of talking about it before, but it is great to see Ranger again coming back into form. Unfortunately, you know, the first season of ESL Masters is already more than halfway done at this point, and really Ranger is going to be looking to that second season. I think it's going to be in Atlanta again. I don't know if there's confirmation. Of course, the first DreamHack of the year is going to be in Yongshiping, over in the land of Europe, and the second one will be somewhere in the Americas, whether it's Atlanta or Montreal, you know, Canada. Yeah, I think it's still unclear, unless I'm mistaken. I could be wrong. If they have confirmed, let us know. Let us know. Ooh, as across the map, Ranger is going for a very different opener here. If you remember last game, he went for a Twilight Council into 4-gate Glaive Adepts. This game is going to be going for a Robo first instead. This could be for a multitude of different things. Ranger could be looking to have some fun. I believe he is a bit of a fan of Nina, so we could be going for a bit of drop play off of a Robotics Bay. Otherwise, we could be going into some more aggressive play as well, especially if we throw down a third gateway. So far, only 2 gateways here for Ranger, just fully walling off. We do see Beekay going for Overlord speed. He did scout the Robo. He's got a piece of the puzzle. Yo, we're going for an Immortal first? Oh my god. We're setting up for like a Soul Train on altitude. Alright, let's go. Meanwhile, this Pneumatized Carapace is a little bit sus. Again, Overlord speed, like, a lot of players do get it just for secure scouting, just so they can go back in and figure out what's going on. And it makes sense on a larger map. Otherwise, we could see it used for something else, like a Drop Lord all-in. You know, you just pick up all the queens and, you know, German taxi your way across the map. Oh boy, but here we go. The first adept is wreaking a little bit of havoc. There we go. It does finally go down. Didn't get too many drone kills, thankfully. Roach Warren already on the way, as well as the third base, and Beekay is just droning. Meanwhile, Overlord speed has finished, and we're going for a scout across the map, and it's going to be an important one because Ranger is going for a 2-base all-in. 7 gates. 7 gates in total. It is going to be a Soul Train push. We have Immortals, we have Sentries, we have a Warp Prism, we have a bunch of gates behind this. Beekay thankfully already has a Roach Warren, but we need to stop droning and we need to make an army. Oh, Beekay misses the move out, by the way. He does go across the map instead. Is going to be checking for a third base, but there is no third, and this Overlord Scout is a little bit late because by the time the Overlords come in, Ranger is already here. He's already across the map. He's already on top of the army as well. The first queen is going to be going down. We have 22 links in production, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Oh boy, we have slow lots being warped in as well. We have sentries from force fields if we ever get surrounded, if we're ever in danger. The third hatchery is going to fall, and Beekay is trying to muster up an army here. He's coming in with his lings, but the prism control is too good. We don't have blink, but we may as well have blink, especially with that prism. GG gets called, and Ranger takes game number 2 and takes the series 2-0. GG. again, kind of an expected result, as Ranger is, you know, more of a pro player and Beekay is more of a fan of viewer here, taking part in the tournament. And because of that, massive shout out to Beekay. It isn't easy to sign up and be amongst the best of the best out there, but it's a really great experience. It's a really fun thing to do. It's something that I used to do back in the day as well in the Alima leagues, where, hey, you know, if you want, you can sign up and you can play against Innovation, you can play against Mario, you can play against Bjorn, an experience that you otherwise would not have, or Scarlet, or Dark, or Solar, whoever happens to be your favorite player. So yeah, you know, we do incentivize people signing up regardless of skill level, just so you can be a part of this, and you can also learn something from it as well. As Ranger does take the series in the end, and he moves on to the next round, where he will have another opponent ready and waiting. This is the series that we have been waiting for. Oh boy, it's gonna be two old friends meeting once again after a very long time. Ranger versus Scarlet. Oh, let's go.